there is this attempt, and for me, it appears as though this government knows that they are on their way out in 2024. So as much as we can, let's inflict the hardship, let's borrow as much as we can, let's create all the economic mess we can create, and leave it for the NDC to come and clean up.
Which government will do this plan?
Oh, but what is the economic policy of this government? If you know, you can tell me. If Helen knows, I can pause for her to tell me so I proceed. There is no economic policy of this government. Let me show you. In 2016, the government expenditure was 43.9 billion. If you look at the government expenditure, which is under the visionary John Mahama. If you, in fact, and this is the highest, so on the average, you could be doing less than the 43.9 billion. And in that 43.9 billion, we gave you a 617 UGMC. We gave you a 420 Rich Hospital. The phase 2, this government has not even been able to buy sand and stone. It is there. They have not started. We gave you the 500 military bed hospital in Kumasi. There is the Tepa Hospital, Kodongo Hospital, Dodowa Hospital, Medina Hospital, Bogatanga Hospital. We were building hospital because the vision of John Mahama was that Ghana should be a health hub. We didn't need e-levy. That is a government that can even come and tell you they need e-levy because you can see the hospital. Let me take you to the educational sector. We started over 200 secondary schools with 46 completed and the rest were at various stages of completion. We didn't have to impose e-levy to do it. With just a revenue of 187 billion from tax revenue, you have 157. You cannot hit your chest and even mention one regional hospital. We supplied over 10 million exercise books. We were always spending 4.5, the average of 4.5 of our revenue to GDP on education. There was something tangible. If you come to the area of energy, we added almost 2,000 megawatts. Today, we are told that the Ameri, which the visionary leader John Mahama purchased, has become Ghana's own and it's been relocated to your stronghold to provide power. They have no vision whether in the energy sector.
But that was the Ameri plant. That was a good thing.
Yes,
that was
they went to court. They even wanted to stop the Ameri. So in every sector of the economy, the NDC with a revenue of 87 billion, with a loan of 120 billion, I can mention to you tangibles. And so if you have a government that has not done anything with the this government, the total revenue this government has made, last 2021, it's about 400 billion. In addition to that 400 billion, you have borrowed 220 billion. You could not do anything with this magically by some divine intervention and revelation. We are told that e-levy will now become the passport to heaven for us as Ghanaians. E-levy is our way of making Ghana another US. What kind of joke is this? Let's get serious. When this COVID came, and when you talk, they blame it on COVID. And when COVID came, the IMF gave Ghana $2 billion. World Bank gave 100 million. I'm sure the nose masks, $100 million nose masks. I'm sure they use all the World Bank $100 million to buy nose masks, because from their accounting in 2020, they said they used $100 million to buy nose masks, Veronica buckets, and hand sanitizers. I'm sure that's what they use it for. The Bank of Ghana for the first time gave you 20 billion. The stabilization fund, which the visionary John Mahama created to serve as an economic buffer. When 10 cases were recorded, we were told we were broke. Despite all these interventions, you depleted them. So you cannot account for all these monies. But some way, somehow, 6.5 billion is so much that it will provide jobs. So this argument, I mean, government has to give us a smarter communication that this argument about e-levy will create jobs, e-levy will do this. Because even in the e-levy, they sought to benefit. 241 million was allocated for what they describe as revenue assurance.
Which has been, I mean,
So, but for the vigilance of the minority
But you're
and the
supposed to be vigilant.
yes, but for the vigilance, these monies would have gone into pockets of companies who are cronies of members of this government. And
that's just an allegation you're trying to make, or an assumption you're making.
Okay, so why did
Because
they
it
scrap?
hasn't
So why
happened.
did they scrap it? If it was so crucial to helping you raise the revenue, when others raise issues with you, scrap it. Are you that inconsistent? The government doesn't have any direction. The government doesn't know what it's doing. I mean, these are serious matters. But when you say it, you know, they give their foot soldiers data and everything, and they say, oh, go on air and say it. If you are watching me this morning and you're an MPP person, this 241 million that would have gone into companies which are allies of your leaders, you will not get some. And so that 200 CDs they will give to you to buy data and go on air and make it look like the government is doing well. You should ask yourself, why should you be doing that when your leaders are benefiting? You are an MPP person, or you are a good person, a Ghanaian, there is no job. Young men have been dating their girlfriends for 7 years, there is no job. Young couples are suffering. Women practically can't find anything to do. We have crisis on our hands, and the government wants to impose an additional burden. And when you say, they tell you to provide job, and their justification for the job is that if you look at their budget, they have provided 285 million or so for you start. So if you are taking 6.9 rounded figure of 7 billion, and you have allotted 200 or 385 million for jobs, what jobs would you be creating?